All right, so once you sign in, you will get this dashboard here. Hopefully you all remember how to use this. We're going to create a new post. So we go to Post, and it's Add New. The first thing you should do is put in title. All right, so this is Sample Page Builder. Okay. The next thing you want to do is put a category in. Go down the side here. You'll see categories. It will generally come up as uncategorized. This one doesn't. I want you to click on student work for now, okay? Make sure it goes into the student work file folder. That way I can find it. The next thing you should do is set a featured image, okay? You should do this for any story that you're going to do. All right, the featured image allows it to be shown on the main page. Okay, so let's just grab a featured image. I don't really care what it looks like. Oh, that's a cute picture. There we go. There's our featured image. Okay? Now, this is the way it would be if you were doing a conventional story. We're going to use Page Builder. So over here on the right, there's visual, text. We want Page Builder. Okay? You'll see the screen that looks like this. In order to put anything into here, you have to, first of all, add a row. Okay? So across here, you've got add widget, add row, etc. Okay? We want to add a row. Now, it'll go to a default 50%, 50%. That's 2 columns. You can change the number of columns you want. You can have just 1 column, or you can have 3 columns. I'm going to use 3 columns, all right? And then I'm going to change the size. I want the column on the right to be a little bit smaller. This column's going to be a bit smaller. This will be the main column. It'll be a bit bigger. Well, maybe we'll squeeze this one over too, so we make this one really prominent, okay? So now we've got 3 columns. Insert. Down at the bottom, insert, that creates the 3 columns. Now you've got to put some things in there. How do you put that in there? Well, let's start off with putting in the main story. So it's going to be add a widget. Over here, add a widget. There's a lot of different options here. The one that's going to be most common for you is Site Origin Editor. So click on Site Origin Editor. All right, that puts that in there. Now we're going to click Edit because we want to put some material in there. This is going to look like a conventional story again. So this is going to be the main story. Okay, you've given it a headline. All right, now you got to put in some copy. Fortunately, I have saved some copy here. This is just nonsense, so don't worry about what it says right now. And we're going to put in a couple of paragraphs in there. All right, so we've got our copy in here. I'm going to add in a picture because we're talking about somebody in particular. Hold on, let me go back one. I got to put my cursor in where I want it to. So let's say we were talking about Professor Richard Waugh right here. So I'm going to put a picture of him in here. That's a good one. And he's already got a caption. We've got his name in here. Make sure anybody you've got in there, make sure you identify them with a caption. Okay. I'm going to insert that into the post. Now I don't want it in the middle, so I'm going to click on that, align it left. Okay, so now where we've talked about him in the story, his picture shows up. I think it's a little big. Let's just make it a bit smaller. Okay, so now I also want a hyperlink in this story because there's something important in here that I want to link to. So let's just say it's this particular word I want to hyperlink. Okay, so I highlight that word, click on the hyperlink, and I'm going to paste in the URL, which I have written down somewhere here. There we go. There's a hyperlink. So put that in there. Now, what I want you to do is go to this Tools, Options, okay, and I want it to open in a new tab, okay? Make sure it opens in a new tab. All right, so that'll be a hyperlink in there. You can do that for any hyperlink you've got. Please don't link to other media. I don't want you to link to a CTV or a CBC article. You wouldn't do that if you're working for CTV. You wouldn't link to a CBC article. So don't do that in your assignments here, okay? Okay, so we clicked Done. It's in there. That's the first story in there. Now, say you've got an interview, a really great interview with either with your focus person or with your expert, and you want to use some clips from that. You've quoted them in the main story, but you want to have some video clips. They have got great answers and a whole bunch of things you want to put in there. So let's go over to this column over here, and we're going to add a widget, and we're going to go to Site Origin Video Player. All right. Now we can edit that. And And we're going to put in the answer, but we're going to type in as the title the question, okay? A simple question, what's the meaning of life? Now, I need to put in I don't want it self-hosted, I want it externally hosted, okay? I don't want to use embed, and I don't want to show related videos. So make sure you click all those off, okay? Now, I'm going to grab the URL for it. Let's grab this one. Command C, and there we go. Done. Okay, so now I've got that. I want a couple of different answers from him. I'm going to actually duplicate that and duplicate that again. So I'm going to have 3 different clips from him. When I edit it, I have to go back and get rid of that question is up. Meaningful questions. We're going to change the URL for that. And I'm going to go back down to my list of URLs from interview clips. Grab that, and we will post this in here. All right, done. And the last one, we're going to do the same thing. Do the same thing again. We'll get rid of that. Go down here, grab another clip from our expert. All right, we are done. Okay, now you probably want to have a quick look at what you've done so far, so let's preview it. So it's going to show sample page builder. There's our featured image. There's our main story. There's our clips with our expert. Okay, now we've got to fill in this column over here. So let's close that up, go back here. We're going to go to this one. On this side, I'm going to put in a bunch of pictures. I've only got one picture in the story right now, but I've got some great pictures, a whole lot of them, and there's not enough text to wrap them all around. So I'm going to put in a slider, which will be site origin slider. Okay? We're going to click on that. We're going to edit, and we're going to add slider frames. Add, 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 add. Okay? So we've got 4 pictures that we're going to put in. Choose media. We're going to pull it from our existing pictures. Oh, let's grab that one. That's a nice one. Set the media. We're going to go down to the next frame. Click on the next frame and choose media. And oh, that's a good shot. We'll put that in there. And then we'll go down to the next frame. Choose media. And let's find another picture that we've got. There's a good one. Set media. And our last frame that we've got here, we click on frame and choose media. And let's find another good image in here. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so we'll set that media. Okay, we're done with that. So now we've got our slider on the left, we've got our main story, and then we've got our video player. Okay, well, let's have a look at what that looks like now. Sample of page builder is your main headline. There's your featured image that's going to show up on the main page of Seneca Journalism. And what we've got here is a bunch of different pictures. You can scroll through yourself, or you can let it change on its own. Let me just go back on that. One thing that you can change in here is how quickly they change. So it's animation speed 800. That might be a little slow. It's in milliseconds. So let's go 400. And we'll just change the speed, okay? So that was just on the edit page for the slider. Scroll down until you get the animation speed, okay? Done. Okay, let's just preview it again, see if it looks all right. There we go. So it's going to keep changing. And over here you can have them listen to the answer.
My entire life revolved around hockey, even as a kid.
Okay, so all of that works. Now, I'm not satisfied because we've got a whole lot of white space down here. So we're going to put some other stuff in there. So let's close up our preview, go back here, and I'm going to add in a little bit of video. I'm not going to use the video player in this case. I'm going to use Site Origin Editor. Okay, I could duplicate, but I'm going to actually add in a new widget. Hold on, did I do that right? Cancel. Close that. I want to make sure I'm in the right player. I want it in this one. Okay. Add widget. Site Origin Editor. Okay. If you want, by the way, excuse me, you can move it over from one to the other. If you don't like where it is, you can move it over. It just slides around. Okay. So we're going to edit this, and I'm going to add in. I happened to shoot some 360 video last year when I was driving down the Pacific Coast Highway. Okay, so just for fun, I'm going to put that kind of video in. And I'm going to go down to my list of videos. We'll grab this one. And remember, with YouTube video, you just have to paste in the URL, and it will automatically fill in, and then you'll have this beautiful video that will go in there. Okay, so we're going to go done with that. And over here on this one, I want to add some more stuff in here. And I'm going to add in a widget. Again, I'll use Site Origin Editor. And we're going to put in a podcast, okay? Meaning of, oops, if I could type this, it would be so much easier. Meaning of life, okay? Now, again, with SoundCloud, it's like YouTube. All you have to do is put in the URL for that. So we'll do that. And that will automatically fill in. And we're done. Okay, so let's see what the whole thing looks like now. This is going to be the main story. What's the meaning of life? We've got the expert down there. Over here, we've got all our slider images going. We've got our main story. We've got our podcast. We've got the video of the Pacific Coast Highway, which is, by the way, a 360 video. So you can scroll around and see what you got there. And we've got the expert over here, so we can look at that. That's a pretty rich looking multimedia presentation. You can play around with it. You can decide what you want to do with it. You can add in other sidebar stories if you want. You can have just part of a story in there with a link to the full page on it. There's a lot of different things that you can do with this, but this is basically what you can do with Page Builder. There's a sample in there. You can have a look at how I created it. I will publish this, but I'll put it under, again, student work, and we'll publish it. Sample Page Builder. Okay? You can have a look at this. As I said, you can create whatever you want with this. Just use mainly Site Origin Editor. You can use the video player if you want, or you can use the slider. Okay? Those are the simple tools to use right now. That should give you a lot of options in terms of creating your assignment. Okay? If you have any questions, certainly let me know. Publish.